Hi everybody, it's Lisa Hawkyard, the mother of all coaches, and I'm here to empower your mindset to empower you, not only by giving you self-confidence and mindset techniques, but also sharing the people that I work with, that I meet along the way, that have inspired me to keep doing what I'm doing. So today I'd like to introduce you to the lovely Sarah Leanne Philips. So a little bit about Sarah is she's an empowerment coach in training and mental health activist. She's an invisible disability advocate. She's amazing, and a student, and I love this bit, a spiritual badass. And she is glowing, amazing, and such a wonderful person. So welcome, Sarah.
Oh, thanks so much, Lisa, for the introduction. Thanks for having me as well. It's great to be chatting today.
It's great to see you. So what we're going to just go through today is just, I'd like to just say like how we met in the first place, and where you were at that time. And, you know, as people are getting to understand how these interviews work, it's about being open, and, you know, just what comes up, comes up. So let's go back to when we first met.
Yeah, so do you want me to tell the story, or do you want to go for it?
Your perspective.
So me and Lisa actually met at it was a wellbeing day run by O2 through the Go Think Big scheme, and I ended up going by chance, sort of. I won tickets, ended up there, and we met at that day because Lisa was doing a talk. Yeah, and at that time, that was sort of the moment, I think, where everything was happening for me. Everything had gone wrong the months leading up to that day prior. And I think that day was a real turning point for me, because I was at one of my lowest points when I went to that wellbeing day. But just being on that day, hearing the different people talk, yeah, it was sort of the day that I decided, like, right, I'm going to get my shit together now. Things aren't going to stay like this.
It was an amazing day, wasn't it? Because there were so many different speakers, and, you know, again, being completely open and real. It was, you know, probably the biggest talk that I've ever done. So I was at the back thinking, oh, is anyone going to actually want to listen to me? And it was like we were both meant to be there that day, I think, weren't we? You know.
Oh, yeah. I definitely think so. Like I always say, everything happens for a reason.
Right.
I know there's no such thing as a coincidence.
No.
And I think that day, the people found me that needed to. Like obviously meeting you, but then hearing Professor Green talk as well. It was just what I needed exactly at that time.
Yeah, because if I remember rightly, didn't you ask him some questions?
Yeah. So I asked him some questions. And I got, well, it was quite emotional because I asked him about how he'd managed with his dad's suicide, and I'd asked him for advice at the time, because I'd lost someone recently, so I asked him for advice, and I think after standing up and saying that, everyone else sort of opened up a bit more.
Yeah, and I think,
and it was like the whole atmosphere. The room was just I think it was such a space.
Yeah, definitely, because I think something that came from that day and subsequently, it's like the more that we open up, and the more that we talk about our own experiences, it's not from a place of showing off or being bigger or better than anyone else. It's about being really real and authentic, and we by being as open as we can, it encourages other people. And, you know, that I had so much admiration for you that day, because you were so brave, and it was so clear, understandably, you know, how you've been affected, and it really did, it changed the whole energy of everything that was being discussed, because it made it not just a topic, it made it really real, and people could actually connect with it, and you know, so, you know, you opened the gates there. That was fabulous, that really was. And it took you different places, didn't it?
Yeah, just to think back now, it's amazing, like meeting you, and that day really did change things for me, I think.
Yeah, absolutely. And from there, we kind of sort of stayed in touch, but then we kind of reconnected. How many months? That wasn't that long ago, was it? How many months?
No, it wasn't. I think maybe April, May time.
Yeah. Yeah, and even since then, you know, in your own right, you have absolutely transformed yourself. So, can I just ask you, just so you can help other people with your journey, can you just kind of say, like, literally where you were at? Because you were saying about invisible disabilities. Could you touch on that a little bit? Because I think that's really relevant to a lot of people.
Yeah, of course. So, even though I'm only 23 now, I've not had it easy at times. Because I have something called POTS, which is short for postural orthostatic tachycardia syndrome. And I'd been very poorly as a teenager, sort of bedbound for a couple of years. And I think that was really where I started to change my mindset, to be honest. I've had 2 spiritual awakenings, I think, so far. And one of them was when I was really ill, just unable to do anything. I was bedbound. I couldn't read because I was so ill.
Wow.
Couldn't really hold a conversation for very long. It was dire at the time. Just being that young and having so little, really.
Yeah.
Having so much stripped away. But I think for me, being that poorly, it sort of gave me a new lease of life in a way, because everything that I could do, I appreciated it so much more. So say if one day, if I managed to get into the garden and listen to the birds sing and just sit there with a cup of tea, I felt like a millionaire. I felt like I'd won the lottery that day. And I think that really helped me, like, set me up
Good.
for like my future, having that sort of experience as a teenager. But then I was doing much better, so I got the diagnosis. I in fact like diagnosed myself, because it's a rarely known condition. So at the time I did some research, went to my doctor and everything, got the diagnosis, got put on medication. It's given me so much to be thankful for. I've sort of got my life back now. I can do so much more. But yeah, I think when I got to uni, so I had a couple of years where I couldn't go to uni, I couldn't study, I was at home. But then it got to a point where I was well enough to come to uni, and I sort of had it in my mind that I've had that experience now, and I feel like I am grateful for everything, and I felt like I had my head screwed on right.
That's good.
But then sort of the universe decided, no, Sarah, you're going to have another big kick up the bum. And yeah, so it was about a year and a half ago. I was probably the lowest I've ever been, even lower than when I was in bed, unable to do anything. My health wasn't great at the time, but it was more my mental health.
Yeah.
And ironically, my mental health was worse when I was physically a lot better.
Okay.
Which you don't always think. Sometimes you would think, oh, somebody who can't do anything, they would be suffering more than somebody who had all these opportunities in front of them. But it was the opposite for me. Yeah, so my mental health was terrible. I was in a really low spot. So this was March last year sort of time. Things at home weren't good. I'd had a very bad breakup as well. And then I lost my friend at university to suicide. So everything sort of happened in the same month.
Wow.
Pretty much. Within the space of a couple of weeks, everything just sort of, everything fell apart. Yeah.
It felt like it was all falling apart.
So that was where I was at when I met. Yeah, it was literally like my house came apart, because the 2 closest people in my life, which was my ex and my friend, just disappeared within the space of 2 weeks.
Wow.
And because I wasn't doing well myself anyway to start with, it was just the whole foundation of everything that I had was just ripped from underneath me.
Yeah.
So it was very strange. It was very strange.
Did you feel almost vulnerable because all your security had been taken away?
Yeah, it just felt like, yeah, it felt like everything that I knew, everything that was around me just disappeared. So I was pretty much on my own. Like, I had good friends around me, had amazing friends that supported me, and that got me through it. But the main sort of pillars of support that I had just crumbled down. So it felt very strange. It felt like I was on my own.
Yeah.
Like I was a bit lost, you know.
Yeah, I can imagine. So can I ask you, because obviously I've kind of got to know you little bits and pieces along the way from that moment, but because I'm sure this has happened to other people that might be watching this, or people that they know, where do you start when everything is just literally ripped away from you and you are feeling so lonely, vulnerable, scared? I would imagine. Where do you start? How do you start? Like, looking back now, how does somebody start to rebuild anything from that lowest point?
So I think with me, I was, in a way, I think I was forced into it because I didn't have anything to lose at that point. At that point, it was either I could. Well, I think I couldn't get any lower, really. So there was nowhere to go. I was at rock bottom. The only way was up. So I literally clawed my way back up bit by bit, just putting one foot in front of the other. And it wasn't easy at all. Like, there were times where it was difficult again.
Yeah.
I think with grief, it's a funny thing because in the last year and a half, I have done so much. I have had so many amazing opportunities and experiences, and yeah, on the outside, it's looked been thriving. But then, as on the inside, it comes in waves, you know. But I think grief, it does sort of teach you that you can't take anything for granted, because you don't know when it's going to leave you on this earth plane. At least you never know. So it sort of shakes you up and sort of wakes you up to to sort of how precious and short life is. And I think that sort of gave me so much drive at the time to make what I wanted of my own life, and I wanted to do it for both of us almost. It was sort of something that really pushed me forward.
That's very valid.
And I think channeling your emotion as well is important, because at that time I was so angry. I was at first sort of the anger hit me, and I think there was two choices at that point, and one was begin to hate university, begin to hate the environment here, and resent what had happened, resent the situation. The other one was try and do everything I can with all my might to change things.
Yeah.
So I actually applied to do a project with Go Think Big at the university to help other students who might be feeling that way. And I think that really helped, having something to do to use that energy in a productive, positive way, really helped me in my own grieving process more than anything.
Would you say that, you know, naturally, you know, I've lost people in the last couple of years as well, but not quite as upsetting as that. It's just a different circumstance. But when you have this grief inside you, it really does stir up these unusual emotions, really unusual emotions, and to kind of, like you've just said, to channel it into something that's going to benefit somebody else. How does that then change your emotions? Because obviously it's benefiting somebody else. What do you then feel from doing it? What do you gain from that for you in your position?
So for me, it was a good way to release all those emotions. So whenever I was feeling frustrated at the situation in Durham, because there are a lot of students who do suffer with their mental health, and sometimes it can feel like everyone is suffering. And for me as well, that's really difficult anyway, because I hate seeing people suffer with their health in particular. So it can be really frustrating. But I think having a positive way to channel that anger. So whenever I was feeling frustrated, I would do something. I would work on the project, and it would be something to delve into and use all of that sort of built up energy.
That's amazing. And how was the project?
Yeah.
What was your focus?
So the project was called Study Loves Durham, and we wanted to run wellbeing events for students who wanted to make friends on campus, and just let people know that there are people at the university that do care and that do want to make a difference. And yeah, the reception was amazing. I'm so thankful to everyone who came to the events and everyone who supported me. And I think as well, for me, a big part of the project was letting other people know that something was being done, even if it was by little old me working away in my room. Somebody was doing something to try and make a difference and to stop this from happening again. So I think the people closest to my friend saw that I was doing something, and I think that helped them in a way. Well, I hope it did, at least, because it wasn't just that I lost her. I was worried about everyone else as well after that.
Yeah, absolutely.
I think it's a good way for me to.
It's very. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off there. It's very easy to become insular when something so painful happens, isn't it? Very easy.
Yeah. Yeah.
We've got the signal. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I think it's so overwhelming.
Yeah, I'm sure.
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me okay?
Yeah, I think with the rain outside, it's creating the signal to go a bit strange. No, that's amazing. So you've had these two almost like adversities, catalysts for change that have happened in your world. So as you've moved forward and you've moved through them, where are those experiences and yourself? Where are you taking yourself now? Because like I say, I've seen miraculous transformation in you. So would you like to share where you're heading now?
Yeah, so now I'm training to become an empowerment coach, and I want to help people who are in that sticky situation that I was in. When I felt like there was no up from here, when I really felt that low, I want to help people change their life around, because in the last year and a half, I have changed completely as a person, and I want to do that for other people. I want to help them out of that hole and help them flourish and help them find themselves again. And because everyone deserves to be happy and to really thrive as a person. So I want to help other people along that way.
I find this when I'm working with my clients as well, especially when somebody starts to work with me, it's like quite often we can always see the potential in somebody else even when they can't. And obviously you've done the work, I've done the work, and it's about knowing and taking responsibility that only we can change it, but sometimes you just need a little bit of support and guidance along the way. And it's like, that's what the word coach, I often joke about this, I'll get my clients, I'll put them on my coach, strap them in, take them from A to B, and when they're ready they can take their seatbelts off and off they go. So it's just that support along the way. And all our experiences, yours, mine, and any other coaches, they all bring you to now. They all bring you to now. However painful, however amazing, they can always inspire and guide somebody else, wouldn't you say?
Yeah, of course, yeah. I think it's so important to have positive people around you, because no matter how much hard work you put in, I do think your environment is so important. So if you have somebody that's a positive influence in your life and who's guiding you and who's encouraging you and who's reminding you, it can really help.
Absolutely.
I think that's a lot of people fall by the wayside, is they don't have somebody to give them a little pick-me-up when they are feeling that way, when they are sort of struggling with it.
You know something as well, like where a lot of people kind of pull down social media, this is where social media can really, really help. And from a personal level, I was at a panel discussion yesterday, and somebody came up to me at the end, and she was amazing, she was lovely, but her situation at home was it was a struggle. It was a struggle. She's like, how do I influence myself when I'm surrounded by what she was terming as not so great an environment? And my answer was like, use social media. Okay, you may have to be in your room, but use social media. There are so many amazing people on there, so many fantastic quotes, but more than anything, be the example to the people that you want to influence. You know, I won't go into it, this is quite personal, but be the example, be the light, and be the person you want to be, and gradually the energy will have this ripple effect on people around them. But if like you've done it, I've done it, we build ourselves up, and it doesn't make every day absolutely perfect, but it makes every day doable, in the moment, being very present, and separating the feeling from all these, or the feeling from the knowing everything's fine. You can still feel stuff, that's absolutely okay, you shouldn't ever ignore your feelings, but it's about knowing that everything is okay and going to be even better if you choose it.
Yeah, absolutely. I 100% agree. I think it's just about taking those little steps day by day, and not feeling like you have to go from down here to up here, you know. It's about the journey. And I think if you could do that, if you could just click your fingers and everything would be perfect, life would be boring. So
it would. And do you know something? If we could do that, we probably wouldn't even have the tools to cope, the strategies to cope. Your mindset, you can't just suddenly expand something just like that and not expect discomfort. And you know, some people can make quantum leaps, and that's fantastic, but a lot of people can't, and even don't want to. They don't want to, and they're dealing with other situations at the same time. So yeah, 100%. I always explain it. I'm going to flip my fringe because my fringe needs a bit of a cut. One of the things is, mindset doesn't happen just like that. It's like your hair grows, but you can't always see your hair grow, and suddenly you think, oh, actually, that's suddenly grown. That's how your mindset works. It's suddenly you think, oh, okay, oh, I've changed. Just like, you know, all of a sudden, it's like you've suddenly changed, but actually you haven't. You've been on this very, very steady, consistent journey along the way, which is incredible. Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah.
I'm excited for you. I'm so excited for you.
Thanks so much, Lisa. Yeah, I think it's amazing when you've got the achievements to look back on as well.
Yeah.
Because now for me, I mean, this past year and a half at times was really difficult, but now I look back on it and think, if I can get through that, I can get through anything now.
Agree.
So yeah, and just to see a lot of the progress I've made in such a short space of time, because I thought it would take me forever to get over what I went through.
Yeah.
But if you work on it every day, little by little, just putting in a couple of minutes each day, even things improve before you know it.
Absolutely, no, that's perfect. So thank you for sharing everything. What's next for you right now? So if you maybe look forward for 6 months, what's next for you?
Oh, so in the short term future, so I've got my final year of uni, so I'll be graduating next summer. But in the meantime, I'm going to be working on my coaching, and hopefully meeting new people, maybe traveling a little bit, and then after that, I really want to do a master's part time alongside my coaching, because I think it's so important to have your own goals that you're striving for as well. So those are like my two dreams.
Fabulous. And what's your master's going to be in?
French literature. I'm not sure what area yet, but yeah.
Fantastic. And so if people want to find you, my lovely, where can we find you? If people are listening to this and they want to follow you.
So my Instagram handle and my Facebook page are both Sarah Leanne Coach, but I'm working on a website soon, which should be up anytime now. So
yes, no, that's brilliant. Oh well, thank you so much for joining us. And you know what, I'm so sorry that you've been through so much, but amazing and inspiring to hear how you've used that to actually move you forward. So it wasn't all in vain. It's there, and you've used it to drive you forward and support other people. So, you know, all admiration to you, my lovely. Absolutely amazing.
oh, thanks so much for having me, Lisa, and for being such a light in my life. I'm so glad that I did meet you that day.
Yeah, me too. Me too. No, it's wonderful. Oh, well, thank you very much. Really much appreciated. So thank you to Sarah, and I can honestly say with absolute hands on heart, she really has some amazingly powerful words of wisdom. So if you are interested and you'd like to follow her more, then please do. And if you'd like to know more about our journey and how we've worked together a little bit, then please do get in touch. Sarah's part of my Breakfast Boost Club, which is a morning coaching. Every single morning I'm on live giving you tips for the day, all based around law of attraction and self-confidence and mindset work. So thank you for joining me. I'll see you very, very soon. And if you'd like to know more, go to www.lisahawkyard.com. And Sarah, thank you again. Thank you. And I'll see you.
No,
Take care.
thanks, Lisa.
See you later. Bye.